From a windswept island in the north of Europe rose an empire that would one day span a quarter of the globe and influence every continent on earth, the British Empire. Its rise was long, complex, and full of contradictions, driven by commerce, war, religion, and later industrialization. What began as a small maritime kingdom became the most powerful empire in modern history. It all began in the 15th and 16th centuries. When European powers set sail to explore and conquer new lands, Spain and Portugal led the way, but England watched carefully. Under the reign of Elizabeth I, England launched its first voyages into the New World. Though early colonial attempts like Roanoke failed, they laid the foundation for future expansion. In the early 17th century, England successfully established permanent colonies in North America. Jamestown in 1607 and Plymouth in 1620 were the starting points of a growing colonial presence. At the same time, the British East India Company was opening trade routes in Asia, especially in India. What began as a trading company soon became a major political and military force, controlling vast regions of the Indian subcontinent. The 18th century was marked by fierce rivalry with France, the Netherlands, and Spain. European wars spilled over into the colonies. The 7 Years' War, 1756-1763, proved decisive. Britain emerged victorious, seizing French territories in North America and strengthening its grip on India. But shortly after came one of Britain's greatest setbacks. The American colonies declared independence in 1776. While the loss was symbolic and politically damaging, Britain quickly shifted its focus to other regions, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. The 19th century brought the British Empire to its peak. Fueled by the Industrial Revolution, Britain became the world's manufacturing powerhouse. It needed raw materials and new markets, prompting further imperial expansion. In Africa, it joined the so-called Scramble for Africa, acquiring vast territories like Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria. In Asia, it tightened control over India and expanded into Burma, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and many Caribbean islands also became parts of this vast empire where famously the sun never set. Queen Victoria came to symbolize this golden era of imperial power. Under her reign, the empire reached its greatest territorial extent. Railroads, telegraphs, and trade networks were built to integrate these territories and exploit them more efficiently. But resistance and rebellion were never far. In 1857, the Sepoy Rebellion in India shook British control, leading to the end of rule by the East India Company and the establishment of direct crown rule. Back in Britain, opinions about the empire were divided. Some viewed it as a civilizing mission, others as an oppressive system of exploitation. Still, the empire continued to grow, reaching its largest size after World War I. But that war also marked the beginning of decline. Britain's economy was weakened, and nationalist movements grew stronger across the colonies. In India, Mahatma Gandhi led non-violent resistance campaigns. In Africa and Asia, more voices called for independence. World War II delivered the final blow. Although Britain emerged on the winning side, the war left it economically exhausted. The global balance of power had shifted toward new superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. In 1947, India and Pakistan gained independence, marking the loss of the empire's most prized colony. In the following decades, most of Britain's remaining territories gained independence, some peacefully, others amid violence and political struggle. The empire was no more, replaced by the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of independent states tied together by shared history, language, and certain cultural ties. The legacy of the British Empire is complicated. On one hand, it left behind legal systems, education models, and parliamentary structures. On the other, it imposed arbitrary borders, exploited natural resources, and suppressed local cultures. The English language, global capitalism, and even modern international relations owe much to Britain's imperial history. But so do many present-day conflicts and inequalities. Thus ended the story of an empire born from the ambition of an island and one that came to shape and reshape the modern world. An empire that built and broke nations, exported culture and conflict, and now lives on more in memory than in reality.